Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Chicago Bears, the Bears, at home hosting the Minnesota Vikings in a little bit of NFC North family business on Halloween. Trick or treat? Which one was this? If you're a Vikings fan, you feel like you just got tricked. If you're a Bears fan, what a hell of a treat it was tonight. I'm going to talk about this game in its entirety, break it down, talk about the takeaways from this football game, and then move on. But before we do that, you know how we do it here, man. Let's set the table before we jump in to this game and dig in to what took place on Monday Night Football. Big win by the Bears. How many of us saw this coming? Not I, said the cat. I can't sign my name on that. I'd be lying to you. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Louie Tee Network. And subscribe for more great content in 2016 and beyond. I'm also on Twitter. All my social media platforms right there in that box, scrolling up and down the screen. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like the Facebook page at In the Lab Room, and of course, first and foremost, make sure you give me that subscription on YouTube, Louie Tee Network. Again, we're changing the game over here. Want you to be a part of it. Hit that red button. No, not the play button. The subscribe button, man. Go ahead and turn those notifications on while you're at it, so you won't miss out on anything coming out of this channel. Whether it be a Monday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, you'll be in tune to what's going on here on the Louie Tee Network. That being said, wow. Who saw that outcome coming? And the dominance that followed. I mean, it's one thing if the Bears would have won this on a late last-second field goal. Would have been one thing if the Vikings had 4 turnovers and they just couldn't get out of their own way. They were just thoroughly dominated. The Bears just played defense, dominated these boys, ran the football down their throat. Jay Cutler was clean as a whistle, and they dominated these boys. I mean, the Vikings never even seen it coming. It was like the left hook that was hiding on the outside. You're looking at the jab, and the jab is just peppering you. Pa, pa, pa. And you looking for that jab, that straight. And out of nowhere, here comes that left. Vikings never saw it coming. Dropped them cold out on the canvas. So, let's jump into the likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. Like, dislike, banana in the tailpipe.
What y'all, the second team?
We're the first team.
Yeah, we're not gonna fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
So, whoa. How did we get here? 20-10, and really the score wasn't even as close as this may indicate. They get a late fourth quarter touchdown to make it look remotely close. This game was 20-3 for virtually the entire second half. So this was sheer dominance on the part of the Chicago Bears. How do we get here? Let's take a look at these likes, dislikes, and any banana in the tailpipes we may take away from this game. We start with the likes of the team on the road, that being the Minnesota Vikings in this game, the team we all expected to bounce back from an ugly showing a week ago to get back on track. Was last week an aberration? Or are the Vikings not as good as we once thought? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. And I'm pretty sure you guys are already discussing that as we speak in the chat discussion box right now. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. Just so you know, you guys are lighting up the comment section. Half of the comments that you guys posted in the first 10 minutes or so before I got here, and I apologize for being tardy. Been really busy today, as you can imagine. It was Halloween, man. I got kids, man. So I went trick-or-treating. So you could imagine a little behind in the schedule, but oh well, it's all good. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't miss some comments. We'll see when I get there. But in any event, let's jump into this thing. Lights for the road team, the Minnesota Vikings in the first half. Xavier Rhodes. They had a nice little graphic up there. Closed roads. I like that. Or roads closed. Whatever it was. He's been playing some damn good football, man. I like him as one of the young up-and-coming corners in this league. One of those guys that's going to be around for quite some time if he can stay healthy. He's one of those dudes, though, you can see that, you know, he's going to deal with some injuries throughout his career. Has already dealt with some. I think he left this game. I don't know if it was temporary and he came back or he just left this game and didn't return. But he's a guy that you can catch him on the sidelines in some Vikings garb during the game with the whole warm-up suit on because he's not playing. If he can just stay healthy, this is one of the guys that you could look to in the future as one of the better corners in this league. Xavier Rhodes is the truth. You saw it in this ball game, especially in the first half. Had some struggles on that opening possession of the second half with Alshon Jeffrey, but make no mistake about it, Xavier Rhodes is the truth. When the guy's healthy, when he's right, he's one of the best in the league at that position. Forcing field goals in the red zone. At one point in this game, I'm like, okay, this is cute. Chicago, this is cute, man. It's Halloween. You got your little costume on. You're masquerading around as a real credible team in the NFC North. This is cute, man. For real, stop. Take the uniform off. Take the costume off. Reveal yourself. All right? Take the mask off. Show us who you really are. And I said at some point, these field goals going to come back to haunt them. They're going to be losing this game 20-13. 23-13, and we're going to forget that they even had a lead early in the first quarter, in the first half. I said, these field goals are going to come back to haunt them. And then they scored a touchdown before the half, and I'm like, I had the Scooby-Doo going, and you know, once I got the Scooby-Doo going, something's really wrong. Something's terribly wrong. When I get the Scooby-Doo going, once I get the Scooby-Doo going, man, I'm at a loss of words. Something's not right. So once they scored that touchdown, the Scooby-Doo came out. I said, uh-oh. The Vikings are in trouble tonight. These boys aren't going away. They're not taking off the costume till tomorrow. They're sleeping in that Halloween costume tonight. They're not taking it off. They're not taking a bath. None of that. They got plenty of candy, and these boys are going to have a blast tonight. They're not taking the costume off. Not until tomorrow, at least. And so the Vikings were in trouble. They were in trouble, and I knew it once they scored that touchdown. But before then, they were forcing field goals in the red zone. And as bad as they had played, they were only down 6-0 at one point. I'm like, they're going to come back and win this game, right? Right? Wrong. And once they scored that touchdown, I said, uh-oh, you're in trouble. Bears, first half likes. 69-yard run by Jordan Howard. Never, ever trust a man with two first names. They'll do you dirty, just like Jordan Howard did the Vikings uber dirty tonight on Monday Night Football, embarrassing them in front of their family members and their parents and their kids. It's just not cool, man. Those guys with two first names, don't ever trust them. You never know what they're going to do to you. And Jordan Howard blessed those boys tonight. And it started with that 69-yard run on one of the first possessions of the game. He was phenomenal tonight. And we're going to talk a lot more about Jordan Howard in this breakdown of this game. But that led to a field goal, though. For as good as that run was inside the 20-yard line, Bears in the red zone, still had to settle for a field goal. So they're going to lose this game because they're getting field goals. They need touchdowns. Jordan Howard strikes again. Never, ever trust a man with two first names. 37-yard shovel pass. And this is why we kill Jay Cutler. If Q-Bone's out there, cue the hashtag. We kill Jay Cutler all the time. No emotion, no affect. He doesn't care. He's a turnover machine. He's Jay Cutler. Smoking Jay. Jay did some really nifty things tonight, man. That play right there might have been the niftiest of all. Jay's under duress, dips and dodges, steps up in the pocket, about to get smashed after eluding 2 rushers. The third one's coming. He can't get out of the way. Shovels it off to Jordan Howard. Boopski! Vikings don't see that one coming. And I'm going to let you know right now, Billy Ho, not doing that. Nah, buddy, not doing that. And Jordan Howard takes off for 37 yards, sets up another field goal. At this point now you're saying 6-0. This is cute. But as soon as the Vikings score a touchdown and take the lead 7-6, that's over with. So you were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the Vikings to say, all right, man, we got this from here. That was nice. Appreciate you entertaining the fans at home for the first half of this game. We're going to take over from now on out, man. From here on out. We got it. Thanks. It never came. It never happened. Jay Cutler and Jordan Howard round out my first half lights for the Bears. Cutler was exceptional, phenomenal. Any adjective you want to use for Jay Cutler in the first half, he was it. At least it has to mean good, by the way, okay? I know you guys got some other adjectives to describe Jay Cutler out there. I'm just talking about the good Jay tonight in the first half. Hell, the whole game. Jay Cutler was phenomenal in the first half of this game. And really, all game long, Jay Cutler was phenomenal. And he managed the game well, didn't make any mistakes, no risky throws. I thought every time a guy had a chance to make a play, for the most part, Jay gave him a shot. There were some errant throws here and there, but what quarterback doesn't have some errant throws that get away from him? At the end of the day, he gave guys opportunities to make plays. Zach Miller, even Alshon Jeffrey, who I thought should have caught the touchdown pass in the first half that he didn't catch. Jay Cutler was on the money in this game. Jay Cutler was hot in the first half. He made plays. Jordan Howard, also on my likes list in the first half, who another guy that you could just say extrapolate that through the first and the second half, made a ton of plays. This guy had 145 yards of all-purpose yardage in the first half. 97 rushing, almost a bill. Understand what I'm saying? Vikings, one of the most stingiest defenses in the league. This man almost had a bill at the crib at the half and had another 48. So this man almost had a bill and a 50 spot. $1.50 at halftime in all-purpose yards almost for Jordan Howard on one of the most stingiest defenses in the league. Boy was putting in work, man. The young rook was putting in work. Now you see why this man has been all up and down the rookie wall this season. And I venture to say that man's probably going to make another trip there eventually. Maybe this week. We'll find out. Got to tune in on Wednesday to find out if Jordan Howard, after this dominant performance, finds himself climbing all over the Louie Tee Network rookie wall yet again this season. We'll see. But dominant performance in the first half, dominant performance in the second half. This guy was money. So was Jay Cutler. You go to the dislikes in the first half for the Vikings, and there were a ton of them. They gave up the 69-yard run to Jordan Howard. I already talked about that. Led to a field goal. My man Nick has been crying, trying to tell me about J-Ron Kearse. Oh, this guy J-Ron Kearse is going to be a beast. Remember, 7th-round pick out of Clemson. He couldn't understand why he wasn't drafted much sooner, had a chip on his shoulder. He wanted to show everybody what they were missing, and he was going to prove everybody wrong. He gets in, poor gap discipline, and Jordan Howard makes him pay for it. Next thing you know, 69 yards later, Bears are in business inside the 10-yard line. Bradford misses a deep shot to Diggs. Look, I talked about Sam Bradford before many a time. When this trade was consummated, I said, look, if you keep Sam Bradford upright, you keep him clean, he is dangerous. You start letting him take shots, he goes back and reverts to old Sam. Abused Sam is what I call him in St. Louis when he used to get banged up behind a porous offensive line there, and even in Philly when he used to get banged up. If you've ever seen the still shots of these players that the NFL takes, these photos of them that they put on the screen anytime they have a graphic, look at Sam Bradford's. One eye is bigger than the other. Sam Bradford didn't come into the league with one eye bigger than the other. That's from abuse. He's like that puppy in the corner that's been beat up and abused, and they're in the corner just kind of like, don't hit me. That's Sam Bradford. He's an abused puppy, man. And when you start letting him take beatings like he's been taking over the last couple of weeks behind that offensive line, he starts to recollect those beatings of old days and past times, and he starts to become a different quarterback. And that was a part of the deal. If you're going to go and get Sam Bradford, you better be able to protect him. They were able to do it early on. He getting his ass whooped now. Got his ass whooped again tonight. Got his ass whooped last week. It's starting to take a toll. And now, guys streaking down the field wide open. He was hitting this earlier in the season. Stephon Diggs open for a touchdown. Missed him. That's what happens when Sam Bradford's taking a beat, man. Sam B is getting beat. And now the Vikings have a problem on their hands. Because that confident quarterback that was stroking it early in the season doesn't exist right now. They got to protect him better. And if that means keeping the tight end in who Bradford loves to throw the football to, so be it. Kyle Rudolph can't go out in the route. Got to stay in and help protect. If that's a back staying in and chipping, so be it. But you got to protect Sam Bradford. You can't protect Sam Bradford, you're not going to get good quarterback play from him. I'm telling you right now. Missed opportunity to down the ball inside the 5-yard line. You see it every week. I've seen it at least 4 times this weekend. Team has a chance to down the football inside the 5. And hell, the Vikings had a chance to down it inside the 1. And they just couldn't get it done. You know, bobbling the football down by the goal line, goes into the end zone. You miss an opportunity. And with the Bears playing the way that they had been playing, you needed to change the tide of the game. You needed something to stem that tide and maybe flip this game into your favor and maybe pinning them at the 1 and getting a safety or forcing them to punt from their own end zone and getting some great field position like you did against Carolina, which changed that game, a safety versus Cam Newton and a punt return when the Panthers were backed up deep in their own territory for a touchdown. Maybe you needed some of that magic tonight. But because you couldn't down the football inside the 1-yard line, you didn't get that opportunity. And these are opportunities that we don't talk about often, but if you miss these opportunities, you may only get one chance to down the football inside the 5-yard line in the game. And if you miss that opportunity to really flip the field position, you may not get that opportunity again. And the Vikings did not get that opportunity again the remainder of the night. Offensive line on my dislikes list in the first half, and they were bad in the first half. They were bad in the second half. They've been bad since the injuries really started to take effect. This team is in some trouble. They lost another offensive lineman tonight. Don't know the severity of that injury. They better pray that that one's not serious, or else it's only going to get worse from here with this Vikings offensive line. So the offensive line was a joke tonight. The Bears had their way. They had sacked Bradford 4 times by the time we got to the halftime break. They would sack him another 2 times in the second half. The run game was non-existent as it's been all season long. They chronicled that on the telecast. They're just struggling right now. They can't find their way up front, and teams are taking full advantage of. The Bears didn't even blitz tonight. They didn't have to. Guys are winning one-on-one matchups and getting to Sam Bradford, and we know Sam Bradford, 2 left feet. He doesn't want to run, and this is where you miss Teddy Bridgewater. For all of the good that Sam Bradford provides for you in the pocket, when things break down, Teddy Bridgewater can get out of there and create with his legs. You don't have that ability right now with Sam Bradford. So behind a porous offensive line, whereas you could get away with it with a guy with some mobility, escapability, and a little bit of, when the play breaks down, the ability to make plays off schedule in Teddy Bridgewater. Now, you got a guy that's a stationary target that can't run, that won't move, and so you got to protect him. And right now, that's not going to happen with this patchwork offensive line. When you start getting stuff off the streets in week 6, you have a problem on your hands if you must start him. Good luck with that. You're going to need it. You go to the Bears' first half dislikes. Missed deep ball by Cutler to Thompson. Thompson was wide open, much like Diggs being missed on the part of the Vikings and Sam Bradford. Jay Cutler missed Thompson, who was wide open, streaking down the field. Would have been 6 if he hits him just out of his reach. Cutler was off. Alshon Jeffrey drops a touchdown. Talked about this briefly earlier, but Cutler throws him a dart, and Xavier Rhodes makes a good play, but That pass was dropped before Rhodes even took a swipe at his arm nor the ball. Like John Gruden said, that ball beat him up. That ball basically got close into him, like John Gruden said. And I call that the ball beating you up, man. That ball gave him a nice combination. Bow, bow, bow. 2-piece, uppercut, put him down. That ball beat him up. Beat him up, ball. Go ahead, beat him up. Take your shots, man. Beat him up. Got to catch that football out in front of you. He had his hands all the way back here. And you know Jay Cutler put some hot sauce to go on those footballs, man. Let me get 2 of those doubles with hot sauce to go. That's Jay Cutler. That ball is coming out steaming like Willie Beeman. And he didn't want any part of that. Ball beat him up. And so they had to settle for another field goal. Cornelius Washington flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct after the Vikings forced a fumble of what we thought was a fumble of Sam Bradford. I think they ended up ruling it a fumble, maybe an incomplete pass. I think they ruled it a fumble, though, a backwards pass that the Vikings ended up recovering anyway. And he comes onto the field because he thinks it's a fumble, and he starts going nuts, and he gets flagged for it. You rarely see this called, but then again, I don't think players actually come on the field when they're not supposed to. But in any event, he gets flagged for it, and I felt bad for him because I'm like, man, this could be a game-changing penalty. Like, it's 6-0 at the time of this penalty, and if the Vikings go down and they get a touchdown off this and they take the lead and they don't look back, everybody's blaming Cornelius Washington for coming on the field and giving the Vikings new life when they were going to have to punt after Bradford was sacked again and the ball came out. So luckily enough, the defense picked him up, forced a field goal later in the possession, and then the Bears would later go down the field and get a touchdown right before the half and make it 13-3. So all was forgiven, but can't make those types of mistakes. That's the kind of mistakes you see bad football teams make. So if it was going to happen to somebody, you'd expect it to happen to the Chicago Bears, one of those type teams. But I'm glad it didn't come down to that, man. That would have really sucked. Let's go back to the likes. And we go to the second half, and we start with the Vikings. That column is empty for me. There are no likes in the second half. If you want to give them some credit for scoring a touchdown late in garbage time and making it look a lot closer than what it was, go right ahead. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to pat them on the back for that. They got their asses whooped in this game. Defensively, they couldn't get the ball back to their offense. They couldn't stop the Bears' offense from running the football, eating up precious time. There was no tempo, no rhythm. There was no hurrying up. There was no, all right, let's speed the tempo up a little bit because we're down 3 scores and we need to get back into the game. It's almost like they just kind of recited to the fact that, yeah, we lost this game. We're going to resign tonight. You guys got us. We'll see you next time in Minnesota. They almost kind of resigned to the fact that, you got us tonight. We'll get you back next time. Like there was no fight in this Vikings team. They gave up. And it seemed like they gave up on not only offense, but on defense too. It just seemed like the Bears took their heart tonight and they had no answer. This looked like a gutless team. And it's not the Vikings team that I'm accustomed to seeing. You go to the Bears and their likes for the second half. Opening possession touchdown. I thought that was the possession that put the Vikings out of their misery. If there was any fight left in this Vikings team and you heard Mike Zimmer coming out of halftime talking to Lisa Salters, talking about how he just wanted his guys to compete and come out and just stay the course and everything would be fine. All of that talk went out the window the minute the Bears went down the field and put that football in the end zone and went up 20-3. Everything he said about remaining resilient and continuing to fight, gone with one possession. And that's why I feel like it's critical that you get the ball after halftime. Whether you're up or you're down, you can always use the football after the half. That's why I'm never a proponent of accepting the football first if I win the toss. I don't want it. I'm deferring until the second half. And you saw it work its magic in this game. Bears take the football. Alshon Jeffrey has a dominant possession. Jay Cutler hits him 3 times on the possession, including the touchdown, his first of the season. It's now 20-3, and this game is officially over. At the time, we didn't know it, but the Vikings quit once the Bears got that one touchdown. It was over. Game was done at 20-3. Akeem Hicks was a stud tonight. He's on my likes list. It was funny to hear John Gruden say, I want to see Akeem Hicks take over this game. It's time for the Bears to step up. They need someone to put the Vikings out of their misery, and it needs to be Akeem Hicks. And damn it, Akeem Hicks said, all right, I got you. He terrorized them in the first half. He terrorized them in the second half. And when they needed to put that final nail in the coffin, third down situation, Vikings putting together a semblance of a drive, Akeem Hicks busts through the interior of that offensive line, sacks Sam Bradford, forces a punt, and that was all she wrote. I always wondered why New Orleans let him get out of New Orleans. I always felt like this guy was a really good football player. I don't know the answer to that, but he had himself a whale of a ball game tonight. You go to the dislikes for the Vikings in the second half. It's the offense. First things first. At one point in the game, they had 8 drives. 7 of them resulted in punts. Of course, the lone one being a field goal that didn't result in a punt in the first half. And 4 of those 7 punts were 3 and outs. This offense was anemic tonight. Couldn't get anything going on the ground. Sam Bradford was harassed all night. The offensive line was a joke. They just couldn't get it going tonight. And the offense was the biggest, because again, the defense, they weren't their normal selves. First game, they didn't force an interception in 9 games, which is asinine. I can't believe that they had an interception in 9 straight games. That's almost unbelievable. But the fact that the defense held the Bears down for the longest of times. I mean, the game was 6-0 for quite some time. Then it was 6-3. And then at the end of the half, the dam finally broke and they gave up a touchdown and they made it 13-3. But they gave this offense ample opportunities to get back into this game before they finally broke. The dam finally broke and they just couldn't hold it any longer. This offense was horrible tonight. And Alex Boone's injury, I talked about another offensive lineman going down for the Minnesota Vikings. Alex Boone went down, walked gingerly to the locker room. Let's hope that that's not serious, because if it is, another offensive lineman on an offensive line that can't afford another offensive lineman to go down just went down. And so they're already struggling up front. Don't take the best offensive lineman they've got left on that offensive line away from them. Told you, sometimes the injury reaper, he can be vicious and swift and impact one position. Just focus in on one position on your team. You're like, God damn, you already took 2 of my offensive linemen. You coming back for a third? Look, man, I'm just reading the list. Alex Boone's on the list. Coming to collect. Excuse me, out of my way. Vicious. The injury reaper is a savage. Don't you forget it. Doesn't care about you or your football team. Bears dislikes in the second half. None. I thought the Bears played a flawless game. And it's funny, we sat here, we joked about the Bears and who's going to get the number 1 pick. I said, look, man, Browns may not win a game this season. I'm convinced. Browns aren't going to win a game this season. They're 0-16 in my book until they win a game. I said, look, the Bears have John Fox as their head coach. They're going to compete. Now, who saw them winning this game? I didn't. But I felt like the Bears were going to win at least 2 or 3 more games before this season's over. They're probably going to end up with 5 wins because John Fox is good for at least 5 wins on a season. And tonight, they showed why they're a dangerous team. You don't want to play this team. You don't want to play this team. If it were up to me, my Redskins got to play them later in the season. I would have played these boys earlier in the season when Billy Ho was just getting in there and they still were trying to figure some things out. The later you play a team in the season, the more time you give them a chance to figure some ish out. Because at the beginning of the season, when guys go down and you trying to scramble parts around and figure out who fits where, you can take advantage of that. But once you get to the end of the season, to the midpoint of the season, and teams start figuring out stuff, okay, this guy goes here, this guy goes there, we can use this guy in this set, we can do this with this guy. You're in trouble with some of these bad teams. They're going to start to play better football. And I got to play the Bears later on. I'm not looking forward to it. Because I saw what Jordan Howard did. My run defense stinks. I'm not looking forward to playing the Bears. Are you kidding me? Watch out for this Bears team. You got them on your schedule. Watch out for this Bears team. They made, like I said, I said this about another team, and I might have even said it about the Bears. But I said, look, they may not win a bunch of games, but they're going to be in some ball games, and they're going to scare the hell out of some teams. I think I said it about this very Bears team earlier in the season. I said they may not win a ton of games, but they're going to scare the hell out of some teams, and they're going to win their fair share too. Look out for these Bears. Can't say the same thing about the 49ers. They stink. Can't say the same thing about the Browns. They stink. But look out for this Bears team. They're not very good, but they're going to scare the hell out of some teams, and they're going to win one or two more ball games they have no business winning. Watch what I tell you. Banana in the tailpipe. For the Minnesota Vikings, they're still a good football team. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that, the 5-0 start was phantom and they're not any good. They're struggling right now. And teams go through these types of struggles. Remember, the Broncos started off the season 4-0. Then they lost 2 straight. It happens. They've rebounded and won two straight since. It happens, okay? The Kansas City Chiefs, believe it or not, they're a good football team. They got their ass whooped twice this season. Once, really, against Pittsburgh. It happens. You got to pick yourself up. They'll be fine. They'll get it together. I'm going to tell you what, they're going to have offensive line struggles for a vast majority of this season, though. And that's what worries me, and I talked about that before in the past, that their offensive line was going to worry me, but they're going to figure it out. And this defense is still damn good. So I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that they stink and they can't do this and they can't do that all of a sudden now. They just forgot how to win ball games. They're going to put it together. They'll be okay. As for the Bears, Jordan Howard is legit. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that this rookie is a flash in the pan and they can't replace Matt Forte. Jordan Howard is legit. If he can just stay healthy. That was his biggest issue at Indiana. Injuries. Guy was always banged up. If he can stay healthy, this man is as dangerous. A rookie back. And yes, I'm lumping him in there with Ezekiel Elliott because after Ezekiel Elliott, he's been the next best thing as a rookie runner this season. This man stays healthy. He's just as dangerous as any other rookie running back in this league. So we'll see what happens. But let's move on to the next topic at hand, where this game was won.
Well, wake her ass up! We're gonna win tomorrow!
Winning. You starting to get the concept now? Oops. Winning.
All right. For me, where this game was won was in the trenches. The Bears dominated on the defensive side of the football, dominated that Vikings offensive line, just crucified those boys. They got in and got to Sam Bradford whenever they wanted to. They stifled and stymied the run game, made them one-dimensional, and got after Sam Bradford in third and long situations and got off the field. And on offense, they gutted a very stout Minnesota Vikings run defense, gutted them, and threw the football very effectively because guess what you got to do now? You got to respect the run because you can't stop it. And once your linebackers start cheating up and guys start coming out of place, guess what? Now Jay Cutler has free reins to find Zach Miller open over the middle of the field. Now he can hit Alshon Jeffrey up the sideline. Now he can hit a running back checking it down out of the backfield on 3rd and 9 for 10. That's what happens when you have success running the football. It opens up the field. And so, to me, they had this game won when they started to dominate in the trenches on both the offensive and defensive sides of the football. The Bears dominated it in the trenches. That's where this game was won. Now, let's get to your comments. I've said more than enough. Time to wrap this game up.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
Let's get to your comments. Jim Hoover says, who saw this coming? Where did the Vikings rush D go? Good question. I don't have an answer for either one. I can tell you right now, I didn't see it coming. I asked the same question at the top of this program. I didn't see it coming. And where did their rush D go? I have the slightest idea. I know they were missing their veteran safety, Andrew Sendejo, And on one of those runs, they pointed out that Jaron Kearse was out of position, which he was. But Harrison Smith missed a tackle on that play as well. Don't tell me that one guy makes that huge of a difference. They just weren't very good up front. The Bears dominated, and the Bears had 2 backups at guard. They didn't have their full complement of offensive linemen, but they got it done, unlike the Vikings in this game. Sean Mack says, damn Vikings, Bears saved Q-Bone's seat tonight. Would have been interesting to see if you would have been able to take his spot, but who saw that one coming? Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Maybe I'm supposed to be the one that takes that seat later on down the line, not you. Maybe that's what it was. Football gods have spoken. It's not your seat. Back off. Andrew Kim says, damn, again, I can't get more than 8 or 9 wins. Hey, did you tell me you would have Jeff Fisher this thing, man? Why are you trying to deviate from what Jeff Fisher does? You can't have more than 8 or 9. That's what you said you were Jeff Fisher, right? Come on, man. You know the rules to the game. Then you got to play, AK. Elijah Gilbert says, how about Howard? That boy looking good, man. I've been on Jordan Howard. Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Bandwagon from early on. I'll tell you this much. I gotten down on him during the draft process. He had a terrible combine. And I think it really was more of he was coming off of an injury, a foot injury that saw him miss some games at the end of the Indiana season. And I don't know if he was quite fully healthy, but he wanted to go out and compete. And he just looked slow. He looked sluggish. He didn't catch the football well. I thought he had a poor showing at the combine. And so I wasn't impressed with what I saw, but the tape said something totally different. He looked good on tape, but I just seen him at the combine with my own 2. I was like, man, he doesn't look that impressive at all. But this is a guy that, man, watching him at Indiana, he looked a lot like what we saw tonight and what we've seen this season. This isn't his first time busting a team over the skull. He ate the Indianapolis Colts up earlier in the season. He had another game where he went over 100 yards rushing. I want to say it was against the Detroit Lions in a win. This guy's been eating teams alive, man. So this boy's been playing ball all season long for the most part for this Bears football team. Andrew Kim says, Jeremy who? LOL. Hey, they can find ways to get Jeremy Langford on the field, but this is the lead back right here. This is the lead dog moving forward. No doubt. Sean Mack says, JK was good at Indiana, but had nagging injuries that season after transferring in. I didn't see him being this good so far. How did you see him as I've forgotten, LOL? And I just basically explained that just now, that I didn't have him being this dominant in the league. I thought he could be good, but I didn't think he would be this good in the league. I didn't. I thought he could be a solid back, but he's been dominant at times this season, and he looked dominant tonight against a very good Vikings defense. Jake Butler says, hey, Louie T, first live stream, liking your content so far. Man, I appreciate that. Glad you were able to join us, man. Definitely, we have a great time up here, and this is just football fans talking football, man. This is football fandom at its finest to me. Just sitting here talking football. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Robbie Sohal says, Lou better give me that shout out for winning the survivor pool, LOL. I didn't even look at the results yet. But obviously you won because you just said it. And you had a ballsy picking the Titans on Thursday night to get the win. If you did win, I don't recall who my man Brax picked in his pick. But obviously you're telling me you won, so you probably won. Congratulations for winning the 4th annual In the Lab Room Soul Survivor Pool, Robbie. If that is in case the fact, I'm going to check behind you just to make sure. But you wouldn't lie to me there because you know I'm going to double check anyway. So congratulations, Robbie, man. That's a big win. I was going after like week 2, man. I'm disgusted with myself this year. My survivor pool pick was horrible. My picks have been garbage this year. I'm just disgusted with myself. But I had an epiphany last night. I'm going to tell you guys about it on Wednesday. I think I got this thing figured out now. But then again, I feel like this all the time. But this feels a little different. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. But shout out to my man Robbie for not only winning the survivor pool, but also bringing some other dudes in to the Louie Tee Live breakdowns on Wednesdays. They dropped their picks. His boy came in, put double digits on us, and I didn't give him his credit. I had to go back and put the man's name up on the wall of fame. I remember last week I kept saying, I feel like 4 people were up in the upper room, but I only could remember 3. The other guy was a first-timer. We don't have first-timers coming in and blessing us with double digits very often, but Robbie's boy did it last week, so I must give him some credit as well. Hey, once again, congratulations, Robbie, for getting it done. That money will be in your PayPal account. As soon as I verify, that money will be in your PayPal account, Chief. Big win, man. Big ups for you getting it done in the 4th annual In the Lab Room Soul Survivor Pool. Jason Moore says, when the Bears D-line is an overmatch for your offensive line, you know you got some real problems. Hashtag, and I'm going to put this hashtag, even though you didn't put it there. Hashtag truth. When the Bears D-line is looking like a beast, you got problems. You got problems, son. The Vikings got some real issues up front. That's real. Sean Mack says, it's all good, bro. My town had our trick-or-treat on Saturday. How much candy you going to jack from their back? Man, after this is over, I'm going right into their rooms, and I am going to work on those buckets, man. I got a date with their buckets right after this is done. ASAP. I got my head set on some Kit Kats, couple of Snickers, maybe an Airhead or two, maybe 1 or 2 lollipops, man. I'm about to go rack up. But you can't do it. You can't overdo it or else they'll know you ravaged their bucket. You have to be very subtle with your approach. I'm going in, though, and I'm going in hard in the paint. Devontae Thompson says, who you think is the top 2 teams in the NFC now? Man, that is a great question because the NFC is wide open. Obviously, Dallas is at the top of the food chain right now. I'm unwilling to move off of Atlanta. I think Atlanta right now showing me some things defensively. They're going to figure some things out there. Guys can stay healthy. I think the top 2 teams in the NFC right now are the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons. Vikings aren't that far behind, but with the issues that we've seen, they got a huge chink in the armor. And that's on the offensive line. That's going to hurt them, okay? And if they can't force turnovers, like tonight they didn't force any turnovers, they're going to be in trouble. And so they got to figure some things out, but the Vikings are still good. I'm not counting them out, but right now my top 2 in the NFC, Dallas Cowboys, head and shoulders above everybody else right now at 6-1. Have a great and golden opportunity to go to 7-1 versus the Cleveland Browns this week. And the Atlanta Falcons, they got a great opportunity to go to 6-3. They got to go on the road and beat Tampa, but Tampa hasn't won all season at home, which is a joke, but they haven't. But they've won 3 straight versus the Atlanta Falcons, so something's got to give. We're going to find out what's going to happen there, but those are my 2 top NFC teams right now. Nick Riley says, man, Harry missed effing tackle on that play. Trash ass take the ball by curse. Yeah, that was the start of the end. That was the beginning of the end for y'all right there, man. And you know what? I'm actually proud of you, Nick, for showing up. I didn't think we would see you tonight, man. I honestly said, Nick ain't coming up here tonight. We won't see Nick until next week sometime. So kudos for you after this tough one that you took on the chin. There's nothing worse than your boys embarrassing you on national television. Happened to me week 1. And I'm almost used to my boys embarrassing me on national TV. We don't win at all. Our record in our last 18 games on primetime at home, 2-8, 2-16. We don't win at home on primetime. So I'm used to my boys embarrassing me, but it still didn't make it any easier when the Steelers in week 1 stripped us down butt ball naked and hung our drawers up on the flagpole, and everybody pointed and laughed as I tried to hide my little privates and run to some kind of protection. It's tough, man. It's tough when you get stripped down, butt naked, and everybody's pointing and laughing on national television. Happened to the Jags last week, man. It's not fun. As a fan, it's not fun. It's one thing to get your ass whooped on a Sunday afternoon when everybody's watching their own game and not paying attention, and they just look at the score and say, damn, what happened to the Vikings? They didn't watch it, though. When everybody's watching, it stinks. Nick Riley says, my effing team is no longer in the top 5 in the league. These boys got effing bullied. Yeah, they did. But they're not top 5 in the league, but they don't need to be top 5 in the league. They just need to be in the top 6 in the NFC. And right now, they're still number 1 in their division. and they're still in the top 3 in the NFC conference. So it's not all gone. You know, it's not all dead after 2 straight losses. You can pick yourself up and right the ship. Nick Riley says, man, Jake and TJ is pure asshole. We ain't going to be able to do ish if we don't protect the effing quarterback. Man, I tried to warn you about Jake Long, man. I tried to warn you. You didn't want to listen. My grandma used to tell me, those who don't hear feel. You feeling that, man. And yeah, TJ, I just thought TJ would be so much better. TJ, he is funky, man. TJ is funky. Yikes. Nick Riley says, mother effer couldn't stop run for Ish. Effing giving up 406 yards, drop interception by Xavier. Couple of plays later, touchdown, shaking my effing head. Yikes. That's the type of night it was, man. That's the type of night it was, man. We've all been there. At some point, your team's going to take one on the chin. You just hope it's not on national television, but it's going to happen to the best of us. Captain Spartan 04 says, Teddy would be better than Bradford tonight. Obviously, behind this offensive line, Teddy Bridgewater would be much better because Sam Bradford has to be protected to be effective. And they didn't protect him. You're not going to get the same Sam Bradford you got during that 5-0 start. Spooky Ellen says, are the Cowboys now the best team in the NFC? That would be correct. The Cowboys are the best team in the NFC as of Halloween. Those boys, gutty win last night to find a way to win, trailing in that game by 10 points in the fourth quarter. They are definitely the best team in the NFC right now, sitting at 6-1. The only team in the NFC with 1 loss. So right now, that distinction does go to the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely. Elijah Gilbert says, is Bridgewater taking his job back when he returns? Hard to say. Still a lot of football left to be played. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater wouldn't be doing much behind this offensive line either. The only thing that he would bring to the table is a little bit of mobility. But don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, Teddy Bridgewater would have been fine behind this offensive line. Now, he would have been getting a new asshole torn as well behind this offensive line. They stink along that offensive line. And I don't think Teddy Bridgewater would have fared that much better behind this offensive line and this trash that the Vikings are putting out on the field right now. Elijah Gilbert says, Jay got the diabetes. I don't even know what that means. Who you referencing? Did I miss something? Oh, yeah. You talking about Jay Cutler. Yeah, he got diabetes, man. I guess you were talking about how he doesn't show a lot of emotion. Yeah, he got diabetes. We found that out about 5 years ago. Yeah, he does have diabetes, man. Let's see. Elijah Gilbert says, and Howard doesn't even have any of the assets Zeke has. Right. He's a straight downhill runner, doesn't juke a lot of guys. Zeke Elliott can make you miss. He can hurdle over you. He can run by you. None of those qualities are what make up Jordan Howard. He's just a no-nonsense downhill runner that runs physically with power. And Zeke does that as well. So Howard is a straightforward back, but he's decisive. Some of these guys like to pussyfoot and they want to dance. Jordan Howard ain't doing any of that, man. He gets a hole, he's sticking his foot in the ground, and he's getting downhill fast and in a hurry. Mind Draw says, good night, LT. As a Lions fan, I'm surprised and also feel better that we took an L to the Bears. Yeah, but it's family business, man. I tried to tell my man Nick that earlier in the year. I said, look, man, because Nick was talking reckless. And you know how I get when you go start the season off 5-0. Your head swell up, man. Your head get huge. And so Nick was talking reckless. Oh, we might go undefeated, man. I don't know who going to beat us. And I'm like, hey, Nick, somebody in the division is going to get you. You know how family do it. You know how family business goes. If those two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. You know how it goes. So I said, you know one of your family members is going to sneak up and grab you and say, hey, gotcha. I didn't think it was going to be the Bears. I thought it'd be the Lions. Definitely the Packers and Lambeau. Not the Bears. But that's why we call it family business, because those boys know you like they your first cousins. You can't sneak nothing past them. They know you. They know you. So you shouldn't be disappointed when you took the L to the Bears in Chicago. You know why? Because they are your family members. In any given week, a family member, don't care what the record indicates, any week a family member can jump up and bite you. Mindraw says, is Jay Howard top 3 on your rookie list? Nah. He had dropped off the list because prior to this game, he had 2 dud games. So he had dropped off the list. He had gotten as high as number 6, I believe, on the rookie wall before dropping off. He may be back on there this week. You'll have to tune in to find out. Wednesday night, Louie Tee Live, 9:30. You'll have to tune in to find out if Jordan Howard will, in fact, be back on the rookie wall. We'll see. Robbie Sohal says, Brax picked the Vikings. LMAO. Oh, my goodness. That stings. That's why I don't touch family business. But you got away with some family business on Thursday. So it is what it is, man. But I got you. So, yeah, if Brax did that, and I remember him doing that, then you are, in fact, the 2016 sole survivor in the lab room, man. Again, congratulations to my man Robbie Sohal for getting that done and getting the money. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, man. Your little bragging rights, that's nice. I want that paper, man. It's all about the paper chase. Give me that bread. I'm going to send that to your account, man. Elijah Gilbert says, keep up the good work, man. I'm loving these after-game review things. It's all good, man. This is what we do. We've been doing it for a while, and I appreciate you guys finding me, and this is what we do, man. This is what we do. Sean Mack says, I snatched up a few Starbursts, few Snickers. I'm a big fan of Laffy Taffy. You know what? I hate banana Laffy Taffies. Can't stand them with a passion, man. I will leave a banana Laffy Taffy until next Halloween if you allow me to. I'm with you with the Starbursts. Don't really have that much of an affinity for the orange or the yellow, but I'll eat them. But give me a red or a pink, crush them all day long. Mindraw says, I hope both Vikings and Packers choke so that the Lions can clinch that number 2 spot in our division. You asking a lot, man. But look, I tell everybody this, my own fan base, anybody else who's listening, don't worry about any other teams in your division, man. Your team has to take care of business. If your team isn't winning, doesn't matter what the Vikings nor the Packers are doing. They could lose the rest of their games. If you lose the rest of your games, they still ahead of you. So you got to take care of business. If you're the Detroit Lions, you had a chance to beat a reeling Houston, Texas team, and you couldn't get it done. Got to find ways to win football games if you're the Detroit Lions. Take care of business, and you'll be just fine. Let the chips fall where they may. If you win enough games, you'll look up, and you'll say, we did enough. We getting into the tournament. That's all that matters. Captain Spartan 04 says, Starburst or Laffy Taffy? Depends on what flavor of Laffy Taffy. If you give me a strawberry or a cherry or an apple, give me the Laffy Taffy. If you throw banana into the mix, chocolate, have you seen the chocolate ones? Give me a Starburst. You make me pick, you make me choose one, I'll take the Starburst because of the consistency. I know what I'm getting in every pack. Laffy Taffy, I might reach in the bucket and pull out a banana. I'm pissed. Robbie Sohal says, I picked the Bears too, so tonight was a win-win. Wow, now that's ballsy, man. That's ballsy. You picked the Bears as well. Wow. Nick Riley says, that O-line needs some goddamn serious help or it's only going to get worse. Trust me. It can get worse. Your guard went down tonight. Ouch. Alex Boone went down tonight. So it can get worse. Oh, trust me. It can and possibly will get worse. See what else we got. Sean Mack says, hashtag Cutler still sucks. He got it done tonight. Captain Spartan 04 says, which is worse, the FSU O-line or the Vikings O-line? Well, I'm not going to beat up college players because guess what? All college players aren't going to play at the next level. So the Vikings O-line is the worst right now. No doubt. Sean Mack says, running game and defense wins championships. When are people going to realize and understand that? It's fun to watch teams run up and down the field, total 500 yards of offense, score 35 points. But that doesn't happen in the playoffs very often. You're going to win in the playoffs when it gets cold outside, late in the year. You got to be able to play some defense. You got to be able to run the football. It's the age-old adage. You can run the football, play defense. You can travel, win anywhere. And we've seen that time and time again. It's fun to watch teams light up the scoreboard during the regular season. Those teams don't have a lot of success come playoff time because you got to be able to get stops in the playoffs. Simple as that. Nick Riley says, nah, man, I'm pissed. The F off. This was way beyond BS. I don't know what the F that was, but that wasn't Vikings defense. I hear you, but the Vikings defense stood up for about as long as they could before the offense they realized the offense was going to be a non-participant tonight, and they said, well, damn, if you're not going to help, then we ain't going to do it no more, man. I mean, how much you want us to do? Last week, you were turning the ball left and right, turn the ball over left and right. We had to keep picking your ass up. Finally, in that game, we said, to hell with it, we done. You doing it again tonight. This time you just punting. Are you going to give us some help or what? And they said, nah, man, we ain't helping you out. It's all right, we're cool. We quit too. And it was that type of night. It's all about that cheddar, bro. No doubt, Sean Mack. Sean Mack also says, me too, bro. Don't like the banana ones. Red and pink are my faves as well, LOL. Captain Spartan 04 says, remember the Vikings Colts Super Bowl rumors? It would be funny if the Pats lose to the Colts because no one can cover Josh Ferguson. Really? Josh Ferguson stinks. Oh, man. Robbie Sohal says, hashtag cheddar, hashtag maybe soon Gouda too. I hear that, man. And I'm going to drop some intel on y'all as to what's going down next year. Is going to be huge. I'll tell you about that in the coming weeks about what's going down next year so you guys can prepare yourself for that in advance. Nick Riley says, man, that Vikings O-line be looking like we bust our ass over banana. Shaking my effing head. This ish got me worried big time. You should be worried. But your defense is still good. Today was an aberration defensively. Offensively, you got a lot of problems on your hands. And we're going to see if you guys can clean it up. We'll see. Claude W. says, what do you think about the Cameron Wake to Dallas trade? Is that legit? Is that? Now you got me going to get my phone. Is that a rumor? Or is that legit? Let's check and see. That's a rumor. Okay, don't do that to me. Don't scare me like that. You made me think that actually went down. Had to check the phone. Had to check the Bleacher Report real quick. Don't do me like that. You hear about a lot of trades this time of the year. Everybody's thinking about Alshon Jeffrey just last week was going to the Eagles. You know, I mean, you hear about all kinds of trades that will never happen. Because face it, football isn't basketball. Football isn't baseball. Trades aren't as easy to consummate as they are in other sports. In this sport, the compensation is too high. Teams don't want to part with picks. It just takes too much. And unlike baseball or baseball, you trade for a guy, guess what? You just traded for a left-hand reliever. What is he going to do? There's no playbook. There's no understanding what we do schematically. Put your ass in the game, and you need to throw 12 pitches and get me 2 outs and get out of the damn game. You can do that anywhere in baseball. Basketball, I trade for you. Man, we got like 8 sets, okay? You come in, you practice with us for a week. You understand what we're doing. Hell, all we can do is tell you, look, man, don't worry about the sets. We're going to set pick and roll. You come off the pick, be ready to shoot. Or you roll to the basket and come set this beautiful pick, roll to the basket, and look for the pass. It's not rocket science. It's basketball. Whereas in football, you trade for a guy in the middle of the season, and we're doing some things schematically over here. Defensively, offensively, you got to come in, you got to mesh. We got to figure out what you do well. You got to figure out what we do well. It's just a lot harder to trade guys in season. And then again, like I said before, teams aren't willing to part ways with the compensation that is going to take to get a player like a Cameron Wake. The Dolphins may be saying, hey, look, man, I want a 3rd-round pick. And the Cowboys are saying, 3rd-round pick? No. I'll give you a fourth or a fifth, and the Dolphins are like, nah, I'll just hold on to him then. He means more to me than a 4th round or a 5th round pick. And then the Cowboys will just say, okay, well, this is your loss. I'll just keep it moving. So you rarely see these trades happen. And you actually worded it to where it did. And you weren't saying that it had happened. You said, what do I think about a Cameron Wake to Dallas trade? So I apologize for that too. Nick Riley says, I'm not buying this, man. Our defense is so much better than that. I agree with you. And that's why I said that was my banana in the tailpipe. That defense, that's legit, man. Your defense is legit. I'm not buying that y'all are this bad. You'll be fine. Defensively, that is. Mind Draw says, are you drinking that Vikings juice? Yeah, I'm not. I didn't put that juice away. It's in the fridge right now. It's not in my hand anymore. I put it in the fridge, but I got a lid on it. So it's not going to go flat on me. It's not going to have some kind of sour, rotting taste when I decide to pull it out the fridge and take another sip. It'll still be good. I put a cap on it. But I got the Cowboys in one hand in the NFC. I got the Falcons in the other hand. When I put those drinks down on the counter, I pick up the New England Patriots in one hand in the AFC, and I still got the Denver Broncos in the other hand until otherwise notified. So those are the drinks that I'm holding in my hand. And when I put those down, if you ask me to pick up one NFC drink and one AFC drink, I'm picking up the Patriots drink in my left hand, and I'm picking up the Cowboys drink in my right hand right now. That's how I'm doing it. And I'm taking a sip of both of those. So that's how I'm doing it. Vikings are just in the fridge. I didn't pour it out. I didn't put it in the trash. I still plan on drinking that. Still good. Like Homer Simpson says, it got a little bit of dirt on it. It's still good. It's still good. Vikings juice is still good, man. Got a little bit of lint on it. Take that lint off. Throw it off. That juice is still good, man. A little warm, so I'm going to put it in the fridge right now. Once it starts to chill, I'll pull it out and I'll take a sip. All right. Mind Draw says, the only solid thing going on right now is that Tampa Bay released Jonathan Banks. Is he any good to claim off waivers? They released him for a reason. Anytime a guy gets released at this point of the season, that means you're dead weight to a team. That means there's a problem. Whether it's off the field, on the field, you can't stay healthy, the medical, something's wrong with that guy. I don't know what it is, but if they let him go, most likely, and again, you've got your rare instances like when the Redskins cut ties with their 2nd round pick, David Amerson, and he goes to Oakland, and he's been a standout for them. There's the rare case where a guy just needs a change of scenery. I don't know if that's the case for Jonathan Banks or not. We'll find out. Maybe he's about something. We'll see. Captain Spartan 4 says, did Andre Johnson have a nickname to you? Yes, he did. The one and only DRE was his nickname. Nick Riley says, man, I swear I truly believe we're going to come out against one of those great teams and smack them in the mouth. I'm calling it where pissed off and Zim are going to change some ish. Well, yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. I'm not down on this Vikings team yet. Got some questions, but I'm going to tell you right now, watch out for the Vikings. They're going to get somebody. They're going to lick somebody down. It's going to happen here shortly, too. But no more chat, discussion, comments addressed to me. So that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to Monday Night Football Overtime. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on Monday Night Football Overtime here on the Louie Tee Network. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. Thank all you guys for joining me out there. We've gotten through all the games from Sunday. It's going to be a great week. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Redskins Report, also Louie Tee Live following the Redskins Report. Until then, you guys take care. God bless. Good night. I'm your man Louie Tee signing off. See you next time. Thanks again for joining me.
Broncos won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning retired. 49ers won 5 games and Tom Sula got fired. RG's in Cleveland and my Rams hit the West Coast. Be sleepless in Seattle cause that 12-man ain't beast mode. Oh yeah, I knew it was something I forgot to mention. Yeah, old Tom Brady about to get that suspension. Yeah. I know the Pats fans probably think that's whack. Yeah. But at the end of the day, your balls was flat. It's that time again. It's that time again. To go hard in the offseason, cause we trying to win. We gon' go so hard, we don't take no days off. Hopefully one day it's all gonna pay off. Shout out your defense, they tissue, cause they soft. Catch them while they sleeping, we gon' sneak in the playoff. I'm ready for some football, I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.